There were more than 55,000 convenience stores in South Korea as of the end of last year, giving the country the highest density of stores per capita in the world, according to CNN.
지난해 말 기준으로 전국 편의점 수가 5만 5천 개를 넘어서면서 한국이 세계에서 1인당 매장 수가 가장 많은 나라가 됐다고 CNN이 보도했습니다.
Yeah.
Now, I read this article and
I
it
did as
said
well.
that there are more convenience stores in Korea
Yes.
than the famous golden arches around the world.
Fast food
Yeah.
burger place,
Yeah.
burger joint. Yeah, I had to look that
terms-
stat up too.
Yeah.
Mickey D's only
Right.
has 40,000 stores worldwide. Worldwide compared to 55,000 convenience stores
Wow.
in Korea. So it goes to show just
Yeah.
how many convenience stores. And, you don't need these statistics to know that anywhere you look in South Korea. In fact, this morning I went downstairs to get my iced coffee at a convenience store.
Sure.
And just like the name suggests, it's very convenient.
Exactly.
And, this headline, it says that this is according to CNN. It's according to a report from CNN, but the actual statistics were given out by the Korea Convenience Store Industry Association. So in a country of about 52 million here in Korea, 55,200 convenience stores calculates to about less than 1,000 people for every
Right.
convenience store. About 900 somewhat people for every convenience store. So that's quite a lot.
Exactly. 그렇죠. 우리나라의 편의점 수가 5만 5천 개를 넘는다고 합니다. 그런데 그 유명한 그 땡땡땡 하는 패스트푸드점 있죠. 이게 사실은 전 세계 어느 나라에 어느 도시에 가나 있는 것으로 유명하잖아요. 근데 그 땡땡 요 패스트푸드점도 40만 개밖에 안 된다. 요런 얘기죠.
Yeah, exactly.
40만이 아니라 4만
40,000.
네네 4만 매장 정도 있는데 그것도 사실 많은 거지만
Sure.
우리나라의 편의점이 그보다 더 많다. 그래서 한 950명당 하나가 있을 정도다.
And what I thought was pretty interesting about the way this story was told by this CNN report was they highlighted also the growth of convenience stores and how they're highlighted on social media.
Yeah.
And how influencers, not just in Korea but worldwide, come to Korea and highlight the joys of convenience stores. And I learned a lot of hacks from
Yeah?
convenience stores through social media. One
Right.
example is my iced coffee. What you do is get some banana milk. And you mix the banana milk with with an iced americano, and you get sort of a latte,
Yeah,
but with
yeah.
the banana flavor to it.
Ooh,
So
I'll have to try that after the show today.
one of the many conveniences of convenience stores, because it's
Right.
not just food and drink, right? You can mail things out, you can do all sorts of things at convenience stores.
Exactly. 맞습니다. 자, 편의점 convenience store라고 하죠. 지금 이게 인구 밀도에 비해서 편의점이 상당히 많다라는 인구 밀도가 아니라 그 매장의
Yes.
매장의 개수 자체가 1인당 내지는 그 인구에 비해서 상당히 많다 이런 얘기인데요. 그런 밀도라는 단어를 보겠습니다.
Yeah, density. There's a scientific definition of density. If you go back to chemistry class, it's
Yep.
mass over volume, D
Sure.
equals M over V. But in layperson's terms, it's the amount of something per unit of space. So in this case, we're talking about the number of convenience stores in South Korea.
네, 여기는 편의점의 밀도, 편의점이 얼마나 많이 있는지를 얘기하고 있는데 제가 조금 전에 말했던 인구 밀도를 만약에 말하고 싶다. 그러면 population density
Exactly.
이렇게 말하면 되고요. 그다음에 이제 per capita라는 표현입니다.
Yeah, per capita, this comes from Latin. It's actually a Latin term because capita is not an English word,
No.
right? It means, in Latin, literally means by heads or for each head. But it basically means per unit of population or by or for each person, per head.
그렇군요. 네, per capita라는 거는 우리가 이런 경제 뉴스에서 1인당이라고 할 때 많이 쓰는 표현입니다. 우리가 일상 회화에서는 쓰진 않지만 그럴 때는 우리가 뭐 1인당 가격이 얼마 나왔어 이런 말 그냥 일상적으로 할 때는 per person
Right.
하면 되지만 경제 뉴스 이런 이제 전문 용어일 때는 per capita.
If you go to a restaurant, if you Dutch pay, you're not going to say, okay, we're going to split the bill and per capita, it's going to be 20,000 won per person. No.
No.
But you would say, for instance, per capita spending by a government, or there are more convenience stores per capita.
그래요.
Blah, blah, blah.
네네, 그렇습니다. 우리 청취자분이 작년에는 일본이 편의점이 좀 더 많았던 걸로 나왔다고. 그렇군요. 네.
okay.
이제 현재는 이제 우리나라가 이렇게 이렇게 또 굉장히 많다고
Well, in
합니다.
absolute terms, that might be true. But I think we're talking about here the density.
Per capita.
Per capita,
Got it.
the number of convenience stores.
All right, here's the headline again. There were more than 55,000 convenience stores in South Korea as of the end of last year, giving the country the highest density of stores per capita in the world, according to CNN. Here's our next headline.
3 of the nation's low-cost airlines have fully restored their check-in and booking systems following a global technical disruption caused by the outage of Microsoft's Windows operating system.
세계를 덮친 마이크로소프트 운영체제 오류의 여파로 마비됐던 국내 저비용 항공사 3곳의 탑승 수속 및 예약 시스템이 모두 완전히 복구됐습니다.
Yeah, big news over the
Yep.
weekend
Yes.
globally. And Korea was affected. And just like the headline says, 3 LCCs, low-cost carriers, low-cost airlines, Jeju Air, E-Star, and Air Premia had disruptions to their technical systems at about 3:30 in the afternoon on Friday, and systems were back to normal by 3:30 a.m. So in about 12 hours, officials were able to get to the bottom of the problem. And it caused dozens of flight delays, 92 to be exact, 31 at Incheon and 61 at other airports across the country. But this disruption is still occurring globally. It's caused over 30,000 delays, 3,200 flights to be canceled, and the repercussions of that are still being felt.
네, 그렇습니다. 한동안 이제 이런 탑승 수속이라든지 예약에 차질이 빚어졌어요. 그 예약이라는 거를 우리가 reservation, reserve라고 하기도 하지만 booking, book라고도 합니다.
Right. A booking is a reservation.
Yeah.
Just like it says, it's an arrangement to have something held or being taken for one's use. It could be a hotel room, like you said, or a flight.
Yeah, exactly. booking이라는 게 그래서 예약이라는 뜻이고요. 동사로 book 이렇게도 쓰고요. Global technical disruption.
Yeah, a disruption is an interruption or a disturbance in a normal routine. If you all of a sudden give a child a new toy, it might disrupt their daily sleep habits or patterns. I know parents don't like when that happens because it's very disruptive. But a technical disruption would be a mechanical or something detailed or specialized that was disturbed.
평소처럼 진행되던 것을 딱 방해했을 때 disrupting 한다라고 하는데요. 여기서 말하는 global technical disruption이라는 거는 전 세계가 겪은 기술적인 문제라고 보면 되겠죠.
A disruption would be an understatement here in this
Yeah,
case too. It was
it's
a major issue,
huge
right?
issue. Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't even a glitch.
No.
It was, it disrupted operations for so many. And we'll probably talk about that a little more later.
Perhaps.
다시 한번 헤드라인 제가 읽어보겠습니다. 3 of the nation's low-cost airlines have fully restored their check-in and booking systems following a global technical disruption caused by the outage of Microsoft's Windows operating system.
A census by the European Statistical Institute has found that as of the end of 2023, 1 in 4 children under the age of 18 was at risk of poverty.
유럽연합 통계기구인 유로스타트가 최근 발표한 보고서에 따르면 지난해 기준 EU 내에 18세 미만 인구 4명 중 1명이 빈곤 위험에 처한 것으로 집계됐습니다.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
So this study conducted by Eurostat, what it did was it looked at children under the age of 18, factors such as, their capacity to pay bills, the family, the household that they live in, just basic payments for basic utilities, rent, the ability to heat your home, or whether an adult even has 2 pairs of properly fitting shoes. So this is the level of poverty we're talking about. And if you break it down by country, Romania, Spain, and Bulgaria were at the bottom. Well, I guess it's the top of the list
Right.
for this child poverty ranking. On the other side, it was Slovenia, Finland, and the Netherlands at about 14%. So there's a big gap there in terms of countries within this one continent. The major Eurozone economies also have the highest number of children at risk of poverty. We're talking France and Germany, both just over 3.5 million under 18. But there is one silver lining. There's one encouraging stat in that this number has slightly declined, 0.1 percentage points compared to last year, meaning that's a slight improvement in conditions for about 100,000 individuals.
Yeah.
And, you would think that these major economies would have good situations for
Exactly.
children because the children are the most vulnerable in our society, and
Yeah.
and I think any society should do their utmost
Yeah.
to help this class.
Absolutely. I mean, poverty does still exist in
It
these
does.
developed countries and, in the EU, in America, wherever it might be. But oftentimes it's not talked about quite enough.
Especially child poverty.
Child
Yeah.
poverty, yes. Well, all of this has been revealed through a census.
Yep. A census is basically a tally, a counting of a number of a population.
Yeah.
And a government census is conducted every 5, 10
Couple of years, yeah.
to basically count just not just population but other social statistics.
그렇죠. 자, 인구 조사 이걸 영어로 한 단어 census라고 합니다. CENSUS. If you're at risk of something, I
Yeah,
should say. What does that mean?
Yeah, if you're at risk of something, you're exposed to harm or danger of something. Here we're talking about children who are at risk or at danger of falling into poverty.
네, 그렇습니다. 뭐뭐의 위험에 처했다. At risk of something. Here's the headline again. A census by the European Statistical Institute has found that as of the end of 2023, 1 in 4 children under the age of 18 was at risk of poverty. Let's move on to the next headline.
A bucket containing 150 food pouches with a shelf life of 25 years has become a hit among U.S. shoppers concerned about natural disasters and an unpredictable future.
미국에서 유통기한이 25년인 150인용 비상식량 박스가 출시돼 자연재해 및 예측 불가능한 미래를 걱정하는 소비자들 사이에서 큰 화제가 됐습니다.
Yeah.
25 years?
Yeah, they sell this at a big warehouse, a popular warehouse that also
Okay.
exists here in Korea, membership only
Yeah.
warehouse
Yeah.
retailer, and it made headlines. I saw this in a different outlet, but it contains foods like chicken Alfredo pasta, vegetables, teriyaki rice, cheesy macaroni. But I think the fact that this is being sold is more an indication of the sign of the times, perhaps. People are very uncertain about whether it be natural disasters, political future, I imagine, maybe. But a 25-year shelf life, that means these foods, do they have a lot of preservatives, I'm assuming?
I would imagine so.
I remember back when I'd go visit my grandmother's house in
Yeah.
the 80s, they would have, she would have MREs. Do you know what these are? Meals ready to eat from the U.S. Army.
Oh.
The military. And you could buy these on the black market here in Korea. But they're foods that are literally stored in pouches. And you just open them and you can eat them just as is. And they're pretty delicious, in fact. But you see these MREs or these food pouches that are handed out in humanitarian situations.
Right.
Humanitarian aid is dropped from helicopters at times, but this food bucket is becoming a big hit, apparently.
그렇죠. 이런 비상식량은 사실 빨리 상하면 안 되죠. 언제까지 먹어야 될지 모르고 오래 보관해야 되고. 그래서 이제 좀 보통은 몇 년, 이 정도의 쉘프 라이프가 있는 것이 우리가 지금까지 생각한 비상식량인 것 같은데 요거는 25년이라는 유통기한을 가지고 있어요.
And it's a big bucket. You have a big
그렇죠.
variety of selection.
네,
of
맞아요. 한
foods.
150가지의
Yeah.
음식이 들어있다고 하는데 이거 이제 우리말로 그냥 150인분이라고 표현을 했습니다만 그러니까 그만큼 많은 양의 음식 또 굉장히 오랫동안 먹을 수 있는 것들이 들어있는 패키지 이게 인기랍니다.
Yeah, we saw during the coronavirus pandemic, after natural disasters, where people could go days without food or power or electricity, and it is really a concern.
Yes.
We keep some water just in case
Yeah,
the power
exactly.
goes out.
Yeah, remember those stories about people going to the supermarket and finding nothing on the shelves?
Exactly.
No toilet paper, no water, no whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess now they want to be prepared in
Yep.
case something like that happens again. So what's shelf life?
Yeah, the shelf life of something is the expiration or the length of time that an item remains suitable or fit to be used or consumed.
네, 그래요. 이게 우리가 보통 이렇게 그 매장 선반 shelf라는 단어를 들으면은 이게 그 판매와 관련이 있다라고 생각하실 수 있어요. 그래서 something was flying off the shelves. 그러면 불티나게 팔렸다.
Right.
As it was removed from the shelves. 그러면 더 이상 판매하지 않는다. Or it returned to the shelves. 그러면은 다시 판매하기 시작했다. 근데 shelf life는 유통기한입니다. 유통할 수 있는 기한이죠.
Right.
유통기한. 자, concerned about something.
Yeah, when you're concerned about something, you're anxious, you're worried, distressed, troubled, like the gentleman that was locked in the bathroom, I'm sure was feeling very uneasy.
Yeah.
But concerned is a funny word where as a phrasal verb, you can say concerned about something, you're concerned with something. You can be concerned by something,
Sure.
for something. So they all pretty much mean the same thing, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Concerned about라고 여기서 했지만 뭐 concerned with라고 할 수도 있고요. 지금 얘기하신 여러 가지로 바꿀 수 있는데 무엇을 걱정하고 염려하는 겁니다. Here's the headline again. A bucket containing 150 food pouches with a shelf life of 25 years has become a hit among US shoppers concerned about natural disasters and an unpredictable future. Now here's our next headline.
BTS member Jimin has taken the number one spot on the iTunes Top Songs chart in 112 regions worldwide with Who, the lead track of his second solo album Muse.
그룹 방탄소년단 멤버 지민이 두 번째 솔로 앨범 Muse의 타이틀곡 Who로 전 세계 112개국 아이튠즈의 톱송 차트에서 1위에 올랐습니다.
Yeah, they're still, despite them conducting their military service, they're still putting out music.
Yeah.
And good music, it seems like. Just another day, a BTS member is hitting the charts, the global charts.
Yeah.
And this time it's Jimin, who is doing his military service.
Yeah.
This lead track off his second solo album was released last Friday, and it topped charts in the US, Britain, Canada, Germany, among other countries. The album, it's a story of Jimin's effort to find love and the ordeals he faces along the way, according to his agency.
Okay.
He's scheduled to be discharged from military service in June of next year. So in the meantime,
Okay.
fans can enjoy a lot of his music.
네. 제대는 내년 6월이군요. He is scheduled to be discharged in June next year. 이 Who라는 곡이요. The lead track of his album입니다.
Yeah, so back in the day when we bought albums and CDs, the lead track is the main track that usually has the same name as the album. We also say title track.
Yep.
But title track has a different sort of connotation. I think in Korea it's been known as the one song. It's what we normally known as a single. That's promoted
Right.
more, regardless of the song's title. So in the Korean music industry, it's a term used to describe a promoted song on an album, similar to a single.
보통 앨범에서 제일 먼저 홍보하고 공개하는 그 노래를 lead track라고 합니다. 그래서 곡이 몇 곡이 있느냐, 몇 개의 track가 있냐 이렇게 얘기를 하죠.
And it's not just music. You know, when we had DVDs, you would
yes.
skip tracks. You know, you
그렇네요.
can fast forward to a different track.
That's right. 자, 그리고 이 앨범이 솔로 앨범인데요. Tell us about the word solo.
Yeah, it means alone, of one person. Musical performance
Yep.
without any accompaniment would be a solo. Solo, there's a misnomer here in Korea. If you say I'm solo, that means you could say I'm going solo to a party.
Yeah.
That means you're going by yourself.
Yep.
But normally you would say I'm single.
맞아요. 솔로는요. 혼자서 한다라는 뜻입니다.
Yeah.
그래서 솔로 앨범, 솔로 퍼포먼스 이런 건 다 되는데 I am solo.
Yeah.
그러면은 이게 말이 안 돼요, 영어로는.
Yeah.
혼자 뭘 한다는 거야? I am single이라고 해야 됩니다. 내가 만약에 연인이 없다는 말을 하고 싶으면.
Yeah. It also, well, you could say that I am solo, you're kind of by yourself.
Yeah,
It
I'm
does have-
going solo is
I'm
okay.
going solo,
yeah,
right?
I guess people would understand, but
Yeah.
it's not the normal way to say.
Or you're isolated, perhaps. I am solo, but you wouldn't say it in that in a normal context.
맞아요. 예, 보통은 나는 지금 만나는 사람이 없어라는 말을 하고 싶을 때는 I'm single
Yeah.
하고 그 외에 나 혼자서 뭐뭐 한다라는 말을 할 때는 솔로로 붙여서 뭘 하는지 얘기하시면 됩니다.
Yeah, you could say I'm a solo diner. If
Yeah,
you go to a restaurant, oh, how many people in your party? Oh, I'm a solo diner today.
저 혼자 먹으러 왔어요. 이렇게. 자, 다시 한번 헤드라인 읽어보겠습니다. BTS member Jimin has taken the number one spot on the iTunes Top Songs charts in 112 regions worldwide with Who, the lead track of his second solo album, Muse. 자, 여기까지가 저희가 원래 준비했던 헤드라인인데요. 밤사이 특보가 하나 들어와서 저희가 전해드리도록 하겠습니다. 바로 미국의 대선 구도가 확 바뀌었다는 소식인데요.
Bonus headline.
네, 알려드리겠습니다.
U.S. President Joe Biden has withdrawn from the presidential race after weeks of mounting pressure from Democrats.
네, 조 바이든 미국 대통령이 수주간 민주당 내 압박이 이어진 끝에 미국 대선 후보직을 전격 사퇴했습니다. 이제 4개월밖에 안 남았거든요. 대선까지 11월 5일이죠.
Yep.
네, 그런데 이제 그동안 사실 건강 상태도 안 좋았고 가장 최근에는 코로나도 걸려서 그래서 원래 스피치 하려고 했던 것도 취소하고 그런 여러 가지 건강상의 문제 또 현재 또 최고령 대통령이잖아요.
Yeah. This pressure it really started to mount after the debate.
Yes, with Trump.
With former President Trump,
Yes.
several weeks ago. I believe it's 20-something odd days ago that this
Yeah,
happened, and
yeah.
a lot has happened. That pressure really got to him, I imagine, and the Democrats are now. And in his statement, President Biden, he released over social media,
Sure.
fully endorsed his vice president Kamala
Right.
Harris as the next candidate
Right.
to run in this upcoming presidential election. So what happens now is when the Democrats put on their convention, the delegates will have to sort of coalesce and congregate towards Kamala Harris in trying
Right.
to beat Donald Trump in the race.
네. 자, 그러니까요. 바이든 대통령이 이번 이제 11월 5일에 있을 대선에 후보로 나가지 않겠다. 그래서 후보직을 사퇴한 것이고요.
Yeah.
그렇다면 민주당 후보가 누구냐? 아직까진 정해지지 않았습니다. 그렇지만 바이든 대통령이 일단은 전격적으로 VP, Vice President인 카말라 해리스를 지지한다, endorsing 한다라고 발표를 했고요. 그렇지만 이제 민주당 내에서 골라야 돼요. 이제
Yeah.
아마 뭐 며칠이나 몇 주간의 과정을 통해서 좀 누가 민주당의 후보가 될 것인가, 누가 과연 리퍼블리칸 파티의 트럼프와 맞서서 싸울 것인가 이걸 고르게 될 건데 뭐 전문가들에 의하면은 한 4명 정도가 제일 유력하다고 해요. 카밀라 해리스, 그레첸 위트머, 가빈 뉴섬, 피트 부티지지.
Yeah.
이 정도가 지금 언급이 되고 있는데 잘 모르겠네요, 아직까지는.
It'll be Kamala Harris. I'll
You
put
think
my
so?
money on
You
that
think
for
so?
sure because
Ah.
there's not enough time right now for the Democrats to
시간이 많이 없긴 해요.
sort of go through the vetting process of any other candidate, and it's a natural decision to put Kamala Harris in there. I think
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she is the vice
The
president
VP.
right now,
Yeah, she's
and
the VP.
her role is to step in case anything happens with the president.
네,
so
그렇습니다.
I don't think there'll be any surprises there.
네. 그래서 바이든 대통령은 이제 그 남은 포터스 President of the United States, 포터스로의 남은 한 6개월 동안의 기간을 정말 충실히 내가 임하겠다 이렇게 발표를 했고요. 대선 주자로서는 이제 물러서겠다라고 발표를 했습니다.
The number of Koreans with a college degree who didn't have a job marked an all-time high in the first half of this year, according to government data.
정부 자료에 따르면은 대졸 이상 학력을 가진 우리나라 비경제 활동 인구가 올해 상반기에 역대 최고치를 기록했습니다. Okay, tell us more about this.
Well, we're using the complicated phrase economically inactive population. Basically means adults who aren't working. And according to Statistics Korea, there were 4.058 million people with a college degree here in Korea who were considered in the first half of this year as one of these economically inactive population. So these are over the age of 15 who are unable to or are unwilling to work. So we're seeing the ratio of college graduates not working being, well, at an all-time high. It's 25.1% in the first half of this year, and that's the first time it's ever gone over 25%. That said, as of May, there were 3.76 million people in the young adult group, 15 to 29, who did get jobs. So there are plenty of economically active young adults, but there are a fair few who are not.
Looks like they're either taking their time or there must be other reasons for not having a job. Being inactive obviously means you are not moving, physically speaking, or in
yes.
this case, not working.
Exactly. So, for example, a machine can be inactive if you turn it off.
네, 그렇습니다. 활동을 하지 않고 있다는 뜻이죠. inactive라는 게. 그래서 비경제 활동 인구를 economically inactive population이라고 합니다. Let's look at this word degree.
Yes, we're talking about a certificate of education.
Right.
For high school and middle school, we have a diploma. Often, I think.
Yeah.
But for higher education, for university or college, we have degrees, whether that be a bachelor's degree or a master's degree.
그렇죠. 이제 고등학력에는 우리가 학위가 있죠. 대학교부터. 그래서 학사 학위, undergraduate degree, 석사 학위, master's degree, 박사 학위는 PhD, doctor's degree.
Yeah, or doctorate.
doctorate 이렇게 또 표현을 합니다. degree가 학위고요. 여기서는 물론 이제 대학 졸업을 한 사람들을 얘기하고 있기 때문에 Koreans with a college degree 그냥 대학 졸업자라는 의미로 썼습니다. All-time high는요?
It's the highest it's ever been, and it's all hyphen time. It's connected by a hyphen there, and it means it's never been as high as it is now.
그래요. all hyphen time 그 다음에 high입니다. all-time high 역대 최고치. Here's the headline again. The number of Koreans with a college degree who didn't have a job marked an all-time high in the first half of this year, according to government data. Now let's move on to the next headline.
Several European nations have reintroduced or expanded compulsory military service amid Russia's mounting threat, part of a range of efforts to boost defences that are likely to be scaled up even further.
러시아의 위협이 커지는 가운데 여러 유럽 국가들이 징병제를 재도입하거나 확대하고 있습니다. 이는 앞으로 더 증강될 것으로 보이는 국방력의 일환으로 풀이됩니다. So this had not been the policy of, having people conscribed to the military. This had not been around for a long time.
Exactly. I mean, the UK, for example, we got rid of it in the early 60s. But for other countries in Europe, because of that division through Germany, we had the Iron Curtain.
Right.
It was only after the end of the Cold War in the 80s that we saw this mandatory conscription ending. However, because of the threat of Russia and what's happening with the war in Ukraine, countries have taken up conscription once again. So Latvia reintroduced it on January 1st this year. They got rid of it almost 20 years ago, back in 2006. But it is back, and that means if you're 18 and you're a man, well, within 12 months, you'll be sent off to the army. Or if you're at university, once you graduate, you'll be sent. Norway as well is doubling their defense budget, and they're added something like over 20,000 conscripted soldiers and other employees and reservists into their armed forces. This is a thing that's happening all over Europe. It may not be that conscription is occurring, but discussions are occurring.
Yeah.
Recently in the UK, in the run-up to the general election, Rishi Sunak, the leader at the time, was proposing national service and also military service for some young people.
아, 그렇군요. 지금 라트비아하고 노르웨이 얘기를 해주셨는데 그 외에도 이제 많은 유럽 국가들이 이런저런 방법으로 국방력을 강화하고 있습니다. 징병제라는 단어는 conscription이라고 할 수도 있고요. compulsory military service라고 풀어서 말할 수도 있습니다. compulsory 볼까요?
Oh, do I have to explain it?
It's compulsory, Paul.
Okay, all right, I will. It means I do have to do it. If something is compulsory, it must be done. A similar term is mandatory. That it has to be done. It's the thing that needs to be done. For example, education in Korea is compulsory for children. You have to go to school, I believe.
Up to a certain age.
Up to a certain age, yes.
Yep.
But we're talking about for young children,
Yep.
they have to go to school. In the UK, I had to go to school. It was compulsory.
네. 반드시 해야 한다, 필수다 이런 뜻이에요. Compulsory and mandatory, they both mean the same thing in this case. And to scale up.
Many of you, when you woke up this morning, maybe you stepped on the scales to see what your weight was, and hopefully you didn't scale up, meaning you didn't get bigger, you didn't get larger. If we scale up, we increase the size or the amount of something.
네, 스케일이 커지는 거니까 확대한다라고 볼 수 있습니다. Scale up. 반대로 이제 줄어들면 scale down이라고 할 수 있겠죠?
That's what I say to my scales on a weekly basis. Scale down, please.
You talk to your scales.
Well, I'm very lonely
I
sometimes.
see. All right. Well, here's the headline again. Several European nations have reintroduced or expanded compulsory military service amid Russia's mounting threat, part of a range of efforts to boost defenses that are likely to be scaled up even further.
The Spanish city of Barcelona is set to slam tourists with new charges for overnight stays amidst protests by locals against over-tourism, which saw visitors drenched in water.
스페인 바르셀로나에서 과잉 관광에 반대하는 주민들의 시위에 관광객들이 물세례를 당한 데 이어 시 당국은 관광객을 대상으로 1박당 매기는 도시세를 또 한 번 올릴 예정입니다. What's going on in Barcelona?
Well, they get a lot of tourists, and they've been charging them for a while now. There are two separate charges, two separate costs you have to pay. One is a regional charge, and one is a city tax. And this city tax is now going to rise for the second time this year. Last April, it went from 2.75 euros to 3.25 euros, so almost 5,000 won in total. Now it's going up to 4 euros, which is about 6,000 won per night. So you have to pay that for every night you stay in Barcelona, and that's up for a week's stay, and that's coming in October. It's because, well, protesters have been, telling tourists to go home.
Yeah.
They're fed up of having too many of them. So the idea is this money will help make things better for the people who actually live in Barcelona as opposed to those who just come and visit.
도시세를 올림으로 인해서 관광객들을 좀 덜 받고자 하는 그런 의도도 있죠. 너무나 관광객이 많이 몰리니까. 자, 첫 번째 표현 보겠습니다. To charge someone something.
Yes, or in this case, we're using it as a noun.
Yeah.
A charge, meaning a cost, a payment, a fee of some kind. You may have to pay a parking charge
Yeah.
if you park in a garage. You may have to pay service charge if you're eating in a restaurant in Europe or in America, for example. I don't think we have service charge usually here.
No.
No. So there are all sorts of charges. In this case,
Yeah.
it's a tourist charge.
Oh, unless it's you using valet parking. I think that you have a service charge
Okay,
there.
yes.
자, 이 charge라는 것은 명사로 썼을 땐 요금이 되겠고요. 동사로 쓰면은 그런 요금을 부과하다, 매기다 이 뜻이죠. Overnight stay는요?
That's where you are located somewhere for just one night, for 2 days, for that period. There it goes from sun to moon to sun again.
네, overnight라는 게 한 밤을 지난다는 뜻이 있기 때문에 overnight stay는 1박 숙박한다는 뜻이 있습니다. Alright, here's the headline again. The Spanish city of Barcelona is set to slam tourists with new charges for overnight stays amidst protests by locals against over-tourism, which saw visitors drenched in water. Here's our next headline.
LA Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani has set another milestone by hitting his 30th home run of the season, a blast that traveled 144 meters over the bleachers at Dodger Stadium.
네, 미국 프로야구 로스앤젤레스 다저스의 스타 선수 오타니 쇼헤이가 다저스 스타디움 관람석을 넘어가는 비거리 144m의 시즌 30번째 홈런을 날리며 또 하나의 기록을 남겼습니다. Ooh, let's talk sports then.
Yes, this is incredible. I mean, it's his 30th home run of the season. It's his 100th game as a member of the LA Dodgers.
Already?
Yeah, and this was an incredible shot, 144 meters, clearing 2 entire sections of the bleachers of the stands in the right center field. It's quite incredible. He now holds the second longest Dodger Stadium homer since they began tracking these distances in 2006. So the longest one was a 476-foot drive in 2006. So he's not quite there yet,
Yeah.
but judging by how well he's doing, it's quite possible he'll beat that record as well.
Paul, what's a bleacher?
A bleacher, nothing to do with cleaning products.
No?
A bleacher you will find at a baseball stadium. And it's raised seating, raised benches. I never heard it used in the UK growing up. I think this is very much an American term, and it's used for outdoor sports where you have benches that raise up and up and up and up and up, usually made of metal.
Yeah.
Can be in a stadium, could be at a school, just around a field of some kind. Those are the bleachers.
I don't know if our listeners are aware, but in England, we don't really have baseball or basketball for that matter.
Well, we
not
have
that you
basketball
don't.
at schools. Schools play basketball. I played
Okay.
basketball as a
All
kid.
right, baseball then. You do have cricket, of course. But,
Played rounders and softball.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have very popular professional baseball or basketball.
네네, 맞습니다. 영국에서는요, 야구가 우리나라처럼 이렇게 크지 않아요. 아예 야구하지 않는 곳들도 많아요.
Because we play cricket. Cricket
네.
is one of our big national sports.
맞아요. 크리켓이랑 베이스볼이랑 공통점도 있지만 좀 또 다르기도 한데 어쨌든 영국에서는 크리켓이나 라운더즈라고 하는 어린이들이 하는 그런 버전의 게임을 더 많이 하지
네.
베이스볼은 하지 않아요. 학교에서 저도 한 번도 영국에서 배워본 적이 없었는데 그래서 좀 저도 생소한 표현들이 많이 있긴 해요.
네.
네, 또 매일매일 배웁니다. bleachers는 지붕이 없는 그 관람석, 외야석을 얘기합니다. Setting a milestone, what's that, Paul?
It means you're making a record or breaking a record. You're doing something that no one has done before, or no one has done in the same way as you. Or it can just be setting a milestone in your life, meaning you've done something that you've never done before.
Yes, setting a milestone이라는 것은 원래는 이정표를 놓는다는 뜻이었는데요. 이게 무언가 내 인생에서 중요한 기록을 세웠다라는 의미로 비유적으로 씁니다. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. LA Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani has set another milestone by hitting his 30th home run of the season, a blast that traveled 144 meters over the bleachers at Dodger Stadium. Now here's our final headline.
K-pop boy group ENHYPEN has debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 albums chart with its second studio album, Romance Untold, making it the band's highest charting album to date.
그룹 엔하이픈이 두 번째 정규 앨범 로맨스 언톨드로 미국 빌보드 메인 앨범 차트 2위에 오르면서 자체 최고 순위를 기록했습니다. Alright, let's hear more about ENHYPEN.
They almost got to number 1, but they were beaten out by Eminem's Farewell to Slim Shady. He took the number 1 spot.
Okay.
But they collected 124,000 album equivalent units in the US, which means they're one of the most popular albums of the week over
Obviously.
there. Yes, what's interesting is that it wasn't mostly digital, it was physical album sales. Of these 124,000, 117,000 came from these physical album sales. So it's a big hit for them. It's the best they've ever done. And good luck to them. Who knows? They could get to
Exactly.
number 1 next week.
Yeah, who knows? Well, there are many different types of albums. The studio album is the 정규 album, and then we have the mini albums, the solo albums, the whatever albums they have.
EPs.
Yeah, and the many different types of albums. Okay, the first expression to look at here is debuting.
Yes, and when we're talking about an album debuting, it's when it's released, where it comes in the charts. So here it debuted at number 2. However, a new band, a new group, a new musician will make their debut, meaning that will be their first performance or
Yes.
their first release.
All right, the pronunciation of this word is a little different in Korean. We say 데뷔하다, but in English, debut.
Yes.
데뷔라는 발음만 주의하시면 될 것 같고요. 데뷔. To date.
Until this time. If we use this term to date when talking about an event or an action of some kind, it means this has been the best, the worst, or whatever it is until this point.
지금까지라는 뜻입니다. 그래서 여기서 지금 얘기하는 게 It's the highest charting album for ENHYPEN to date.
Yes, meaning previously they've not had an album that charted higher, but in the future they may well.
그렇죠. 그러니까 엔하이픈에게 있어서는 지금까지 최고 순위를 기록한 것이 된 거고요. 그 이후에는 또 더 좋은 기록이 있을 수 있으니까 그 이후는 모르지만 지금까지는 이렇다.
Yeah, but let's be honest, there's only one spot up they can go. They're number 2. There's only number 1 left.
Well, why not head for that? Okay, here's the headline again. K-pop boy group ENHYPEN has debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 albums chart with its second studio album, Romance Untold, making it the band's highest charting album to date.
A recent survey finds that a large proportion of domestic travelers have plans to head to the East Coast by car this summer, especially between late July and early August.
네, 최근 설문조사에서 올해 여름 휴가 기간 국내 여행을 떠나려는 이들 중 7월 말부터 8월 초에 승용차를 타고 동해안으로 가는 경우가 가장 많은 것으로 집계됐습니다. 여러분도 여름 계획 세우셨는지요? 그리고 혹시 이제 국내 여행 계획이시라면은 아마 그래도 꽤 되는 퍼센티지가 이제 동해안
Yep.
차 타고 갈 것이다. 이렇게
Yep.
생각하실 수도 있을 것 같은데요. Tell us more about this.
Right. Well, I mean, for us, we usually go to the East Coast. It's a favorite of our families. And
You're
I'm sure-
included in this
Yeah.
stat.
So I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people have plans to do so. So this was according to a survey that was conducted by the Korea Transport Institute on about 9,770 households late last month. So it's a quite considerable number of families. And they said that 48.9% of the respondents are planning to go on vacation. And among them, 76.6% percent were preparing domestic trips. So a lot more people preparing to just travel or stay within the country, while 23.4% were looking to travel overseas. And the largest portion of 19.2% of the total respondents, they're talking about the date when they want to go on vacation, and they said they're planning to leave between July 27th, which is this Friday, and August 2nd, and that was followed by 12.2% who plan to take off from August 10th through 16th. And of these domestic travel destinations, there's so many different places that you could go in Korea, but 25.1% said that they would travel to areas in the East Coast, 17.9% said they would travel to the South Coast, and 11.3% said they were headed for the West Coast. And it's I don't know, the statistics was quite surprising because Jeju Island is a very popular tourist destination, but only 10% said that they would travel to Jeju.
I was actually going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
But it looks like 동해 for this particular summer vacation is more popular than Jeju. 여러 가지를 지금 다 종합해서 헤드라인에 넣은 거라고 볼 수 있겠는데요. 일단은 이제 국토교통부에서 이제 한국교통연구원의 서베이 조사를 발표한 거고요. 그 내용에 따르면은 전체 여름 휴가를 떠나려는 사람들 중 한 76%가 국내 여행을 떠난다라고 했고요. 그 중에서는 한 19%가 7월 27일부터 8월 2일 사이에 여행을 가겠다라고 해서 시기적으로 봤을 때는 그게 가장 큰 비율입니다. 다른 기간에 여행을 간다라는 비율은 그거보다도 좀 더 적었고요. 장소는 이제 말씀드린 대로 동해안이 가장 많은 25% 정도를 기록했고 그 외에는 이제 남해 쪽으로 가겠다 17%, 이제 서해안 쪽으로 여행을 한다 11%, 그리고 제주도는 10% 정도였다고 합니다. 국내 여행하면 우리가 domestic travel이라고 하는데 domestic라는 단어 볼게요.
Right, domestic. So it means it's existing or occurring inside a particular country, so it's not foreign or international.
Exactly. 우리 공항에 가도요. domestic 하고 international 해서 국내선 하고 국제선 이렇게 있죠. 그거는 뭐 domestic, what's it short for? Domestic terminal maybe or domestic flights?
Yeah.
flights겠네요. 네. 근데 그냥 이거를 국내 선까지 가지 않고 그냥 국내 그리고 국제 이렇게 domestic and international 이런 단어들을 공항에 가면은 볼 수 있고요.
Yep.
이 domestic라는 단어가 또 가정 내라는 뜻도 있을 수 있습니다. 그땐 좀 다른 의미지만 참고하시면 되겠습니다. What about heading to a place?
Right. When you head to somewhere, it means to go in the direction or go towards somewhere. And I use this very frequently, very casually. When you're going somewhere, you say, "Oh, I'm heading over there now,"
Yeah.
or "I'm headed to something place," or "I'm heading over right now." So it's used very casually and very frequently when you are going to a certain place or going in the direction of a certain place.
Absolutely. 어디로 향하다라는 게 head to입니다. 그래서 이제 여름 계획을 세우시는 분들에게 좀 참고가 될 만한 기사 같은데요. 가장 국내 여행 중에서 붐비는 시기는 7월 27일부터 8월 2일 동해안으로 향하는 길이다라고 보시면 될 것 같고, 그래서 이렇게 사람들이 많이 붐비는 이 시기에 대비해서 7월 25일부터 8월 11일까지가 이제 특별 교통 대책 기간으로 지정이 됩니다. 그래서 그때는 예를 들자면은 대중교통량도 조금 더 늘고요. 그다음에 그 외에도 조금 더 운전하시는 분들도 좀 더 편리하게 운전을 할 수 있도록 그 휴게소라든지 졸음 쉼터, 화장실도 좀 더 확충한다는 그런 소식도 전해지고 있습니다.
So lots of measures to help travelers get to
그러게요.
their destination safe.
네, 그렇습니다. 이게 이번 주말부터예요. 따지고 보면은 며칠 남지 않았네요. 본격적으로 많은 분들이 여행을 이제 떠나실 것 같습니다.
Yeah, it's because schools will be on summer break.
That's right. 다시 한번 헤드라인 읽어볼게요. A recent survey finds that a large proportion of domestic travelers have plans to head to the East Coast by car this summer, especially between late July and early August. Let's move on to the next headline.
The number of registered cats and dogs in the country rose by 270,000 to more than 3.2 million last year, with dogs accounting for the majority of the registrations.
지난해 국내 등록된 반려묘와 반려견의 수는 27만 마리가 추가된 320여만 마리로 반려견이 전체 등록수의 대부분을 차지했습니다. Okay. So, do you have a dog or a cat?
No pets.
Okay.
Although I would love to have one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 3.2 million dogs and cats have been registered so far.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah, so we keep hearing about the increase in households with pets in Korea these days. And there is a reason why dogs accounted for the majority of the registrations. It's because in Korea, dog owners are required to register their pets with the authorities, but cat registration, it's optional. So, of course, this is all in efforts to reduce the number of stray animals. But they said that the number of dogs and cats that were registered in the nation rose 7.6% on year. This is in 2023, and the figure is up from about 3.05 million registered pets in 2022. And this is data according to the Ministry of Agriculture, Food, and Rural Affairs. So, like we mentioned, dogs accounted for the most.
Yeah.
Cats were only about 40,000, but dogs accounted for 3.24 million of the registrations. And in 2024, so this year, the number of newly registered dogs and cats came to 271,000, which is actually a decrease of 10.4% compared with the previous year.
Interesting. 자, 그러니까 작년 한 해에만 새로 추가된 반려견, 반려묘, 등록된 반려견과 반려묘가요, 27만 마리 정도가 됩니다. 전체 등록된 반려견과 반려묘는 320만 마리가 조금 넘는다고 하셨나요? 아까 그 정도가 됩니다.
Yep.
네. 그런데 이제 이걸 break it down을 하면은 좀 이제 세부적으로 들어가서 보게 되면은 작년에 새로 레지스터가 된 반려묘, 고양이 같은 경우에는 10,000마리. 그러면 이제 거꾸로 생각했을 때 한 26만 마리는 이제 강아지, 반려견이 새로 등록됐다고 볼 수 있겠죠. 그래서 헤드라인에서도 the dogs accounted for the majority of the registrations
Right,
라고
right.
네, 하고 있습니다. 이 registered라는 표현부터 좀 볼게요.
Okay, so when you are registered, when your pets are registered, it means your name. So the owner's name is entered in some sort of register. In this case, it would be a government register. So just registered means it's entered or recorded on an official list or a directory.
네. be registered, register. 이건 다 등록하다, 등록되다 이런 의미가 있고요. 그다음에 registration, 이 등록이란 뜻입니다. 그래서 반려견으로 또 반려묘로 공식 등록된 그런 이제 강아지, 고양이 친구들을 얘기하고요. 우리는 이제 반려견, 반려묘 하지만 영어에서는 사실 companion animals라는 표현이 원래 있지는 않고 이거 우리말을 영어로 해석을 할 때 그렇게 설명할 수는 있어요. 근데
Yeah.
영어로는 그냥 pet라고 하면
Yep,
됩니다.
they're pets.
네, 그게 지금도 널리 그냥 사용이 되고 있는 표현이고.
Yep.
그다음에 이제 majority of the registrations라는 표현도 좀 보고 싶은데요.
Right. So we said that the majority were dogs. So the majority means the greater number or a number or percentage equaling more than half of the total.
그렇죠. 대다수를 뜻합니다. A majority of something or the majority of the registrations. 등록된 반려견, 반려묘 중에서 반려견이 가장 큰 비율을 차지했다. 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼까요? The number of registered cats and dogs in the country rose by 270,000 to more than 3.2 million last year, with dogs accounting for the majority of the registrations.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has secured the support of enough Democratic delegates to become her party's nominee against Republican Donald Trump, according to foreign media reports.
카멀라 해리스 미국 부통령이 공화당 도널드 트럼프 후보에 맞설 민주당 대선 후보가 되기 위해 필요한 당내 대의원 지지를 충분히 확보했다는 외신 보도가 나왔습니다. In just 24 hours, she has actually gained a lot of support. So tell us about that.
Well, election day, I think there's just over 100 days left. So they are in a crunch for time. So the top Democrats, they have rallied support for Kamala Harris, of course, in the aftermath of President Joe Biden's decision to drop his bid for re-election. So they say that several state delegations met late Monday U.S. time to confirm their support for Harris, including the state of Texas and her home state of California. And this is according to, of course, foreign media reports. So by Monday night U.S. time, Harris had the support of more than the 1,976 delegates that she will need to win on a first ballot. But it does seem that a lot of these foreign media or some foreign media, they aren't calling her the new presumptive nominee yet.
Right.
And that's because the convention delegates are still free to vote for the candidate of their choice at the convention, which will be held in August, or if Democrats go through with a virtual roll call ahead of that gathering in Chicago.
자, 바이든 대통령이 대선 후보로서 사퇴함으로 인해 이제 지금 민주당의 대선 후보가 공석인 상태인데요. 카멀라 해리스 부통령에게 endorsement,
Yes.
공식 지지는 한 상태지만 그렇다고 해서 자동적으로 대통령 후보가 되는 건 아닙니다. 그래서 이제 일련의 과정이 좀 필요한데
Yeah.
일단은 민주당 내에 그 당내 대의원 1976명 이상의 지지가 필요한데요. 벌써 24시간 지난 이 시점에 이 이상의 지지는 받았다고 해요.
Yeah.
그러니까 일단은 그 요건상으로 봤을 때는 대선 후보가 될 수 있습니다. 그런데 이제 될지 안 될지는 지금 몰라요.
Yeah,
아직도
we will have to see,
확실하진
right?
않지만
Yeah.
그래도 이제 그런 요건들을 갖췄기 때문에 가능성은 상당히 높아 보입니다.
Yeah.
Okay. 자, she secured all these votes or support, I should say. Yeah?
So when you secure something, it means that you've succeeded in obtaining something, but it's usually used when obtaining that thing, there was a difficult process in obtaining it.
확보하다라는 뜻이 있습니다. And what about delegates?
Delegates or a delegate is a person sent or authorized to represent others. In particular, we're talking about an elective representative.
네, 여기서 말하는 Democratic delegates는 민주당 당내 대의원을 말하고 있습니다. 자, 그럼 다시 읽어볼게요. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has secured the support of enough Democratic delegates to become her party's nominee against Republican Donald Trump, according to foreign media reports. Here's our next headline.
A tourist hoping to get an iconic photo with a King's Guard in London ended up collapsing after the guard's horse lashed out at her and bit her arm.
영국 런던에서 근위병과 기념사진을 찍으려던 한 관광객이 갑자기 달려든 근위병의 말에 팔을 물려 쓰러지는 일이 발생했습니다. She was warned, wasn't she?
She was because I've never been here because I've never visited London.
Have you not?
Yes, I would love to go sometime.
should.
But I'm sure you know
Yes.
what's going on here.
Yeah.
So there are signs that say horses may kick or bite. And it also says don't touch the reins.
Right.
So you are warned, but of course a lot of people go there to take pictures. It's very iconic. It's it's a tourist sort of I mean, they do their duties, but it's very important also for tourists to, show that they've been there.
Yeah.
So this incident took place recently outside Buckingham Palace. Of course, floods of tourists are there to wait their turn to get that iconic photo with the uniformed guard on the tall black horse. And apparently what happened was this woman, she was waiting her turn, and as soon as the person ahead of her took that photo, she kind of jumped in there to secure her spot next to the horse, and they think that this might have startled the horse. So it suddenly snapped its head towards that woman and just, bit her arm. It clamped its teeth around the arm. And at first, they say that she seemed like she was okay, but then later she collapsed. But we mentioned before that there are signs warning tourists that the horse might kick or bite or don't touch the reins. So a video of this went viral,
Yep.
and a lot of people who have watched the video, I think the general consensus is that tourists should pay better attention to the signs in that area when attempting to get their photos taken.
Exactly. The thing about these guards is they have to be absolutely still, and they have this heavy uniform on, so it's not like they can jump in.
Yeah, and
or
help you, right,
They
yeah.
have to just stay put.
Yeah.
And as you said, there are signs that say, "Don't go near the horse."
Yeah.
Because they can bite.
Yeah, and they're animals, so they're not that predictable, of course. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can't talk to them and say, "Don't bite me."
네. 경고가 있었음에도 불구하고 말 가까이 가면은 말이 놀라서 이렇게 물 수도 있다. 그랬는데 굉장히 가까이 가서 사실 근위병 쪽으로 갔어야 됐는데 말 쪽으로 가서 이제 사진을 찍은 거죠.
Yeah.
그러니까 말이 놀랐던 것 같아요. 그래서 갑자기 팔을 콱 깨물었는데 물론 뭐 한 0.1초 이렇게 잠깐 깨문 거긴 하지만
Still scary.
그럼요.
Yeah.
그리고 아마 또 꽉 물었을 거예요.
Yeah, and the
그러니까
horse is quite large.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. 그래서 이 여성이 깜짝 놀라면서 순간적으로 쓰러졌지만
She's okay,
그래도
though.
괜찮다고
Yeah, she's okay.
합니다. 네, 문제는 없어요. 네. 자, 첫 번째 표현 볼게요. She collapsed.
Yes, she collapsed. So we use this when someone passes out or someone faints. So it means to fall down and become unconscious, typically through illness or in this case through an injury.
네, 쓰러졌다. She collapsed. 자, lashing out는 뭘까요?
Yeah, so when you lash out at someone, you're expressing your anger. You can do this by talking or you can, write. So it's a way to express your anger at someone.
그래요. lash out라는 게 갑자기 화를 낼 때도 쓸 수 있고요. 이 경우에는 말이 갑자기 물었기 때문에
An attack, yeah.
네, 그 공격했다는 의미로 볼 수도 있습니다. 그래요. 이게 우리 청취자분들이 이게 말 맞아요? 강아지가 아니라 말 맞습니다. 네, 말이 맞고요.
I would think the teeth would be less sharp than dogs.
네.
But big.
그렇죠. 네.
Bigger teeth,
치아
less sharp.
이 치아가 아니라 뭐라 그러죠? 이빨이
Yeah.
뾰족하지는
Yeah,
않지만
because they're not carnivores.
굉장히 단단하죠.
I'm sure.
네.
Because they have to chew on very hard stuff.
네, 당근 같은 걸 이렇게 콱콱 이렇게 깨물어서 먹으니까. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A tourist hoping to get an iconic photo with a King's Guard in London ended up collapsing after the guard's horse lashed out at her and bit her arm. Let's move on to the final headline.
A decrease in demand for ducks and geese in China has led to a surge in the price of badminton shuttlecocks, which use the birds' feathers as their main raw material.
중국에서 거위와 오리고기 수요가 줄면서 거위와 오리 깃털을 주 재료로 사용하는 배드민턴 셔틀콕 가격이 급등하는 현상이 나타났습니다. So this is an unlikely story, but it also has something to do with the increase in demand for pork, right?
Yeah, very interesting, right? How
Tell
that
us about that.
connection.
Yeah.
So apparently, the prices of badminton shuttlecocks in China have gone up quite a bit, and they're thinking why
Why?
why is this happening? And it's because there's been an increase or there's been a
Drop in prices?
drop in prices for pork, which made it more popular
Right.
among people. So they're buying less duck or geese to eat. And that means there are less feathers available for the production of these shuttlecocks. And there's been a lot of complaints made by badminton enthusiasts saying, it's supposed to be an affordable sport, but the prices have gone. I think they were saying that as much as 24% increase from just a month ago. And the price increase hasn't affected the cheaper badminton shuttlecocks, which are not made from actual animal feathers. So they're saying this must be the reason why.
네, 그렇습니다. 자, 그러니까요. 이게 다 돼지고기의 인기로 인해서 셔틀콕의 가격이 올랐다까지 이어지는
Yeah.
상당히 의외인
The
뉴스인데요.
connection, right?
네, 중국에서 돼지고기의 가격이 지금 많이 떨어져서 돼지고기가 인기입니다. 저렴하니까. 그래서 돼지고기 수요가 늘다 보니 상대적으로 오리고기나 거위고기는 사람들이 덜 찾게 되는 거죠. 근데 사육되는 거위와 오리가 적다 보니까 그 오리와 거위 깃털도 그만큼 줄어든 것이고 이 깃털이 줄어드니까 셔틀콕에 들어가는 이 셔틀콕의 원료의 가격이 올라갔다는 것이죠. 그래서 지금 중국 내에서는 아니 언제부터 배드민턴이 이렇게 무슨 부자 스포츠가 됐냐라는 비난 아닌 비난도 나오고 있다고 합니다. Okay, so let's talk about demand for duck and goose. And by the way,
Right.
duck and goose I think would be more general for the meat. And ducks and geese, I think of the live animals.
Yeah.
The demand.
Yeah, so the demand for something. So demand is a need for something to be sold or supply. So, we always talk about supply and demand. They go together.
그렇죠. 수요가 demand가 되겠습니다. 공급은 supply가 되겠죠. raw material은 뭘까요?
Right. Raw materials are the input goods or inventory that a company might need to manufacture its products. So if you think about, the source materials such as oil, cotton, sugar in its natural condition before they've been processed for use, they're called raw materials.
네, 원료를 raw material이라고 하는데요. 주재료라고 볼 수 있겠습니다. 자, 헤드라인 다시 읽을게요. A decrease in demand for ducks and geese in China has led to a surge in the price of badminton shuttlecocks, which use the birds' feathers as their main raw material. Well, that's it for the headlines with Karen Choi. Exports by Korea's small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs, increased 4.4% in the first half from a year earlier, driven by the strong performance of the cosmetics sector. 올해 상반기 국내 중소기업 수출이 화장품 부문의 호조에 힘입어 지난해 같은 기간보다 4.4% 증가했습니다. Tell us more, Ray.
Well, cosmetic exports jumped just over 30% actually, 30.8% to be exact. This is year over year in the first half. So we're comparing the January to June period, and this was it. It amounted to 3.3 billion US dollars. That's the highest figure for any January to June period. A few other interesting notes here. Exports of semiconductor manufacturing equipment, that rose nearly 15%. Exports of electronic appliances gained just over 4% as well. One other interesting note is auto exports actually dropped 10.6% on year.
자, 수출 지금 이제 항목별로 좀 얘기를 해주셨는데요. 화장품 같은 경우에는 지금 1분기 얘기를 하고 있는 거죠. 1월부터 6월까지의 데이터입니다. 그게 이제 작년에 비해서 무려 30%나 늘었다고 합니다. 굉장히 더 많이 수출이 된 거고요. 그 외에는 이제 세미컨덕터 반도체 수출도 한 15% 정도 늘었네요. 그래서 전반적으로는 수출이 4.4% 올라간 것으로 기록이 됐습니다. 그렇지만 자동차 판매량은 이제 수출 판매량으로 봤을 때는 조금 줄어들었다. 이런 얘기도 해주셨는데 let's have a look at what exports overall was driven by, and that expression, of course.
Driven by, caused by. So
Yeah.
the main reason that something happened. It's not the only reason,
Right.
but it's the main one. It's the driver. You can think of it. I always think of driving a car.
Yeah.
It kind of powers it.
그렇죠. 전반적으로 수출이 4.4% 증가했다고 하는데 그것을 이끈 것이 화장품 수출이죠. 아까 30% 정도 늘었다고 했으니까. So overall, exports by SMEs, 중소기업 수출입니다. was driven by cosmetics.
And the interesting thing is this was the first time that the US was the biggest buyer of SME products.
Oh, really?
And China actually fell. Exports to China decreased 3.6%, while exports to the US climbed almost 21%.
오, 중소기업 수출량으로만 봤을 때는 이번에 미국이 가장 큰 수출, 그러니까 미국의 입장에서는 수입한 입장이고 우리 입장에서는 수출 대상국이죠. 미국이 1위고 그 다음에 중국이었군요. Let's look at the word cosmetics as well.
You'll also hear beauty products. So these are things like lipstick, lotions, powders, things that people put on their faces, their skin, even in their hair, their nails. Things that improve your skin, make you look better as well.
Yeah.
You might also hear the term cosmetic surgery. And Korea is the cosmetic surgery capital of the world. So
That's true.
you may see that in some articles as well English articles that write about Korea.
네. 성형 수술 얘기까지 지금 나왔습니다. 성형 수술이 영어로 cosmetics surgery. I think it's also called plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery.
Yeah. 네,
I think everyone in Korea knows where the hub of that is.
Yeah.
If you go to Apgujeong, I go there and I'm like, are all these women related? I've seen 20 women that all look the same today.
And also there are many clinics and hospitals there. Almost every other building
Sure, exactly.
has a cosmetics surgery or
Cosmetic surgery, no
Yeah.
S.
no S.
No S,
cosmetic surgery. 네, 이렇게 하고요. 그다음에 화장품이라는 이 단어는 S 붙여서 cosmetics라고 합니다. Let me read the headline again. Exports by Korea's small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs, increased 4.4% in the first half from a year earlier, driven by the strong performance of the cosmetics sector. Let's move on to the next headline.
The number of babies born in Korea rose for the second month in a row in May for the first time in about 9 years, according to Statistics Korea, as the country is struggling to boost its ultra-low birth rate.
초저출생 문제 해결을 고심하는 우리나라에서 지난 5월 출생아 수가 약 9년 만에 처음으로 2달 연속 증가세를 보였다는 통계청 발표가 나왔습니다. So the birth rate had been going down, and then last month, was it? In
Last
May?
month and in April as well.
In April as well. It's been slightly moving upwards. That's good.
Right, so in May, 19,500 babies were born, a little bit more than that, but
Okay.
roughly that number. And that's up 2.7% from May of last year. In April, the figure rose 2.8%, and that was the first time in 19 months that's happened. Now, the rebound, they are saying, if we look into the statistics, it is partly because of a base effect. As the number of newborns fell 12.5% in May of 2023.
그렇군요. 그 기저 효과라고 하죠. base effect라고 하는 게 뭐냐면은 지금 이 데이터의 기준이 1년 전입니다. 지금 5월 달에 출생아 수가 작년 5월에 비해서 얼마나 많이 늘었느냐. 4월 달에는 작년 4월에 비해서 얼마나 늘었느냐. 이걸 보는 건데 이제 작년 4월이나 5월의 기준치가 만약에 굉장히 낮았다라고 그러면은 당연히 이번에는 오름세가 좀 가파를 수 있겠죠. 그렇다고 해서 출생아가 굉장히 많다는 것은 또 아닙니다. So as you mentioned there, we have to consider several things. If we don't, it kind of looks like, many people are having babies. That is not the case. We still don't have a lot of babies.
Well, we're also when we compare months, we're just looking at May of this year and May of last year. So that's where sometimes things can be a little bit skewed. But nonetheless, it's the first time since October 2015 that Korea reported 2 months of gains in the number of newborns. So nonetheless, it's
good news.
It's still good news.
네, 그렇습니다. 특히 우리나라가 이 초저출생 문제로 고민을 하고 있는 나라이기 때문에 그래도 좀 good news라고 볼 수 있겠고요. 자, 2달 연속 이 출생아 수가 오름세를 보였습니다. 자, 연속이라는 표현 볼게요. In a row.
In a row, consecutively.
Yep.
Sometimes in the UK, in sort of slang terms, people will say on the trot. It's not that common anywhere else, but people will say it.
Yep.
One after another, in a row, consecutively.
네, 맞아요. 연속으로 계속해서라는 뜻으로 in a row or consecutively 이게 가장 일반적으로 많이 쓰는 표현이고요.
So you might get into a new series on TV and you might end up watching 3 or 4 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
I do that regularly.
Binge watching.
Binge watching, right.
맞아요.
It's a brand new one about football,
Oh, really?
NFL football receivers. I just watch the whole series in like 2 days.
I do that sometimes as well. Now, what about struggling to do something?
If something's struggling, if you struggle to do something, you're having difficulties. It's not easy to do what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You can struggle with your homework. You can struggle with anything at work. You can struggle with your relationships.
Or just
Anything.
expressing something.
Sure.
You know, sometimes I struggle to
Yeah.
express what I have on my mind.
Exactly.
So it means there's a bit of difficulty
Yeah,
there,
you're having
isn't it?
difficulties
Yeah.
with whatever it is that you're trying to do
네,
or
그래요.
achieve as well. Could also be
그렇습니다.
trying to achieve something.
네.
A lot of times we'll talk about sports teams are struggling at the moment. You know, maybe
Yeah.
they were playing well, then their performance went down, or a certain player may be struggling.
맞아요. 이 struggle이라는 게 동사로 쓰면은 I'm struggling with something, I'm struggling to do something. 무언가를 하는데 어려움을 느낀다는 뜻이 있고요. A struggling team, a struggling person 이렇게
Struggling artist.
맞아요. 이렇게 형용사로 썼을 때는 지금 힘든 시기를 보내고 있는 누구누구 이렇게 표현을 할 수가 있겠습니다.
You could also have a rough morning. You're just tired, or you go, "Oh, I'm struggling this morning."
Yeah, sure. 맞아요. 오늘 아침이 좀 힘들다라고 할 때도 이 struggling을 사용할 수 있겠네요. I hope our listeners aren't struggling.
Yes,
this
I
morning.
hope not. But you know, sometimes getting to work can be
Yeah.
a struggle, especially on Thursday if you've had a long week or a couple of heshicks or something like that.
Yeah.
You could be struggling this
Sure,
morning.
sure, why not? And to be a little bit philosophical, I could even say life is a struggle.
Right.
Right.
A struggle. See, we can use it different
as a
ways, right?
noun, 맞아요.
Right.
명사로도 쓸 수 있습니다. 그럴 때는 그 고됨, 그런 고생 이런 느낌도 있어요. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The number of babies born in Korea rose for the second month in a row in May for the first time in about 9 years, according to Statistics Korea, as the country is struggling to boost its ultra-low birth rate.
The South Korean passport has been ranked third among the most powerful passports in the world, allowing holders to enter 191 countries without requiring a visa.
총 191개국 무비자 입국이 가능한 한국 여권이 전 세계 여권 파워 순위에서 3위를 차지했습니다. Alright, so another way of saying without requiring a visa is visa-free.
Visa-free travel, right?
There you go.
Or you
Yeah.
can enter the country visa-free.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is really interesting because I was telling my wife just a couple days ago that Korea has one of the best passports.
Yeah.
That you don't need. I didn't know what number it was, but I'm like I know it's among the top, and turns out that it is now third place.
Yeah.
This is for 2024. So a few interesting notes here. I think it's hard to guess the first one. Because when I told my wife, I'm like, oh, I got a story on this. Korea's third. She goes, what's number one? And I hadn't read the article yet, and I was thinking, what would it be? What could it be?
Right.
I wouldn't have guessed, but Singapore. Singapore, if you have a Singapore passport, you can enter 195 countries without a visa. This is now a record, actually, for Singapore and for the ranking. So there's never been a country with this many visa-free travel options. Now, new lows were also being hit.
Oh, okay.
Not too surprising, but Afghanistan has been ranked the world's weakest passport. Its citizens can only travel to 26 countries without a visa. That's the lowest score recorded in the index's history of nearly 2 decades. A few other interesting notes. In 2014, the UK and the US they jointly held the top spot.
Right.
The UK has fallen to 4th, and the US has actually fallen to 8th.
Korea is way up there, though.
Korea's
have a
way up
more
there, but
powerful
it's
passport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so for Korea, you can enter 191 countries visa free. The U.S. is 186, so the gap isn't huge, right? It's only 5
Yeah.
extra countries, but nonetheless, Korea's in third. Korea's passport, it's tied in third with a number of countries: Austria, Finland, Ireland, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands.
그래요. 그러니까 여권 파워 1위 국가는 싱가포르입니다. 195개국을 싱가포르 여권으로 갈 수가 있어요. 무비자로. 그다음에 이제 2위는 공동 2위인데 프랑스, 독일, 이탈리아, 일본 그리고 스페인이 그 여권이 있으면은 무비자로 192개국을 갈 수 있습니다. 근데 우리나라는 이제 공동 3위예요. 191개국을 갈 수 있는데 무비자로 오스트리아, 핀란드, 아일랜드, 룩셈부르크, 네덜란드 그리고 스웨덴과 함께 공동 3위를 차지했습니다.
I miss Sweden. Can't forget about the Swedes.
Of course. What's a passport holder, or who is a passport? What does holder mean?
Well, in general, holder
Yeah.
means someone who has something or owns something. So obviously a passport holder, you have that passport. We could also, and we're going to hear about this when the Olympics starts, record holders,
yeah.
world record holders. If you get a visa, like I'm a visa holder, I have a Korean visa. You could be an account holder. When
yes.
you call up the bank, I'm an account holder. Here's my number. You know, you have a driver's license. You're a license holder.
그러네요. 무엇을 소지한 사람을 말합니다. 그래서 record holder는 기록 보유자, visa holder는 비자가 있는 사람, 레이 선생님처럼. 그 다음에 account holder는 계좌가 있는 사람이죠. 은행과 관련돼서. license holder는 면허가 있는 사람인데요. 여기서 말하는 이제 passport holder, South Korean passport holder는 한국 여권을 소지한 사람은 191개국을 무비자로 갈 수 있다. So you are not required to have a visa to 191 countries if you have a South Korean passport.
Right, very, very lucky. So if you require something, you need it. If you don't require something, you obviously don't need it.
Yeah. Be required to do something. 무엇을 필요로 하다. You are not required to do something. 무엇을 할 필요가 없다. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The South Korean passport has been ranked third among the most powerful passports in the world, allowing holders to enter 191 countries without requiring a visa. Here's our next headline.
Massive wildfires near the Canadian town of Jasper have forced more than 25,000 to flee one of the country's largest national parks as multiple blazes and thick smoke descended on the Rocky Mountain community.
네, 캐나다 제스퍼시 인근에서 발생한 대형 산불로 다수의 불길과 짙은 연기가 로키 산맥 지역 사회로 번지자 해당 지역에 위치한 자국 최대 규모의 제스퍼 국립공원에서 2만 5천 명 이상이 대피했습니다. Are you familiar with this area of Canada?
No, I've never
Okay.
been out there, but I've heard of it. I've heard of
Okay.
Jasper. It's supposed to be very, very beautiful. It's right in the Rocky Mountains,
Right.
and it's right near this big national park. So on Monday night, officials in the province of Alberta, they ordered residents of the town to leave immediately. The town has about 5,000 full-time residents, and then this time of year, there's around 5,000 seasonal workers, and the park. And then they soon after, this was at night. Soon after, they said, "Okay, everybody in the town get out."
Right.
Then they said, "Now everybody in the national park get out." And they say at that time there was roughly 15,000 people. So that's 5, and then the 15. That's what gives the 25,000 number.
아, 그렇군요. 이 2만 5천 명이 왜 2만 5천 명인가 했더니 지역 주민이 5천 명 정도가 된다고 하고요. 그 다음에 이맘때쯤 이 지역에 와서 일을 하는 그 인부라고 해야 될까요? seasonal worker라고 했는데 그렇게 일하는 사람도 한 5천 명 정도, 관광객이 15,000명 정도가 된다고 합니다. 그래서 합하면은 한 2만 5천 명이죠. 그 지역에 있었던 관광객, 지역 주민, 일하는 분들 모두 포함해서 다 대피해라. 그래서 한 2만 5천 명 정도가 대피령을 받았다고 합니다. Alright. We're talking about massive wildfires here.
Massive means just very, very large.
Yeah, exactly. 굉장히 크다라는 뜻입니다. Some reports say the fires were out of control, so not only were they big, but they were hard to contain.
Yes, that's definitely an issue. And they're saying that this one they believe was sparked by lightning.
Oh, I see.
And in the province of Alberta, there's currently 170 fires. In the neighboring province of British Columbia, where Vancouver is, 316. They're saying this was from the report I read last night in the Canadian news.
Hundreds of fires there.
Yeah.
Well, thick smoke descended on the community.
So this word, if we just look at the word descend, descend means to go down. So you
Yeah.
could descend the stairs, you could be in the mountain, then you descend the mountain. But this term you have to look at as descend on.
Ah, yes.
So when you, usually a lot of times we'll talk about a large amount of people. So we know with the Olympics in Paris, thousands, hundreds of thousands, I don't know how many, millions of people from around the world will descend on Paris.
Yeah.
Or probably are doing it as we speak. So it's when something, usually people, arrive in large amounts somewhere, usually suddenly, a lot of times we'll use it in kind of a, the people who showed up were unwanted, right? Like droves of tourists descended on the small town, and then it maybe is a problem. So the smoke just sort of engulfed this
Yeah.
whole area.
그렇죠. 자, descend on까지 하면은요. 그 모습을 드러내다, 나타나다라는 뜻이 있고요. 여기서 이제 파리스 올림픽스 얘기를 해주셨지만 파리 올림픽이 26일 현지 시간 26일 개막식이거든요. 우리 시간으로는 27일 새벽인데 아마 굉장히 많은 사람들이 파리 올림픽을 직접 가서 보기 위해 거기에 모습을 보여주는 거기 갈 것입니다. 그래서 we could say a lot of people will descend on Paris. descend on은 그렇게 쓰는 거고 descend라는 것 자체는 하강이라는 뜻이 있습니다. 내려오다라는 뜻이 있어요. 여기서는 thick smoke descended on the Rocky Mountain community. 그러니까 이 짙은 안개, 짙은 연기가 이 제스퍼 지역 사회에 나타났다, 내려왔다. 두 가지 의미로 다 보시면 되겠습니다. All right, here's the headline again. Massive wildfires near the Canadian town of Jasper have forced more than 25,000 to flee one of the country's largest national parks as multiple blazes and thick smoke descended on the Rocky Mountain community. Here's our final headline.
Organizers of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games have tweaked French culinary tradition towards lighter, locally sourced vegetarian dishes at the Olympic Village in order to promote good health and reduce its carbon footprint.
자, 2024 파리올림픽 조직위원회는 건강을 증진하고 탄소 발자국을 줄이기 위해 올림픽 선수촌에 제공하는 식사를 전통적인 프랑스 요리보다 더 가볍게 현지에서 조달된 재료로 만든 채식 요리로 변경해 내놨습니다. Tell us more.
Well, they're saying that the Olympians will be served Michelin-starred dishes and plant-based meat alternatives with things like croissants with poached egg, artichoke cream, and shavings of sheep's cheese topped with truffle.
The French are known to be dead serious about their food.
Yes.
They take it very, very seriously. So I would imagine the Olympic athletes there will be treated quite well in terms of the food.
Sounds kind of wokey to me, but yeah, you never know. Hopefully they like it. They're saying nearly 2/3 of the 500 dishes will offer vegetarian and meat-free options, like instead of hot dogs, not dogs. This was in the article. A meatless option that has onions and pickled cabbage. All the animal-based products will be sourced from within 250 kilometers of Paris.
그렇군요.
So that's one thing. They're saying leftovers will be redistributed to people in need. They're saying used coffee grinds will be repurposed for fertilization.
Sure.
One big thing, this came in the Beijing Olympics when Usain Bolt won 3 gold medals. He said he ate nothing but chicken McNuggets. That's what he said. But in this Olympics, McDonald's has been banned in the Olympic Village. But countries have been allowed to make special requests. And the article that I read said South Korea has requested kimchi.
오케이. 자, 뭐 각국 선수들이 특별히 요구하면은 특별히 주문한 요리들도 준비될 수 있지만 일단 기본적으로는 좀 채식 위주로 가는 것 같고요. 파리에서 준비하기로는 그렇지만 맛은 있을 것이다. 이렇게 좀 자부하는 것 같아요. 아무래도 프랑스 사람들은 음식에 관해서는 정말 진심인 그런 나라잖아요. 근데 조금 변경을 했다라는 단어 보겠습니다. tweak.
Tweak is when you slightly change something. You make little improvements. So, like if you look at, maybe a speech you're doing or you're giving a presentation, you show somebody, they may suggest a few tweaks. Little changes here and there just to make it even better.
That's the most important thing of that change is that it's little. It's not a big change.
No, slight changes.
Slight change. 네, 아주 미세하게 변경할 때 tweaking 한다라고 하고요. Locally sourced.
That's when you buy something or get something close to the area you're in. And as I mentioned, they're saying that all the animal-based products will be sourced from within 250 kilometers of Paris. So in that area.
네, 그렇습니다. 현지에서 조달됐다라는 뜻으로 locally sourced라고 하고 있고요. 물론 이제 채식 위주로 한다고는 하지만 그래도 뭐 animal-based food도 있을 거라고 합니다.
Be interesting to see how the athletes get all their protein. That's
we'll
one.
have
That's
to
one thing
see.
that people like. There's people on different sides saying this is ridiculous. Other people saying no, it's a great idea. So
Okay,
the
interesting.
need for protein for athletes is one of the big ones. People are saying, why would you do this? Some people online are saying that.
All right. Well, here's the headline again. Organizers of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games have tweaked French culinary tradition towards lighter, locally sourced vegetarian dishes at the Olympic Village in order to promote good health and reduce its carbon footprint.